Hey, how's it going? Today I'm gonna show you how to create a progress button in Flutter. It's gonna look like this. So it has three states: initial, loading, and completed. It's not super complicated, so let's create it from scratch. So it's got the elevation, ripple effect, and all the material look. This stuff comes out of the box with the button widgets, which simplifies the implementation a lot. Alright, here's our empty project, and the first thing I wanna do is to create this button class. And let's put a simple erase button in here. Alright, here's a default button which has elevation and a ripple effect. And now let's see how we can create rounded corners. The way I figured out is to have a material, a physical material, physical model, right? Widget where we pass a border radius, and it's a double, I think. No, it's a class. And it needs a color. Alright, the physical model color is covered by a button, so we don't see that, and now the elevation is gone from the raise button. I don't know why is that, and the way I solved it is by having an elevation delegated to the physical model widget. Let's see now. Yeah, now it has the default, but no pressed. So let's fix the pressed by declaring a field variable. No, actually just a boolean. And raise button has also a on highlight changed, which gives you a boolean which is pressed or not pressed state. Let's use this. This way. And now we can use this pressed flag for elevation. If a button is pressed, then elevation is gonna be 6, otherwise 4. Let's see. Oops, I forgot to wrap it in a set state. Here it is. Right, now let's give a button a blue color. Text should be white. Or maybe no. Yeah, I think so. And let's give it a bigger size. Let's see if a button has a height attribute. No, I think then yes, neither physical models. So let's wrap it in a container. And give it a height of 48 pixels. Alright, now it looks better. And also want width to extend. You can do this by setting the width to null, I think. Now you adjust by setting double infinity. Yes, like that. Now we have our base button. Now let's implement our shrinking animation. I'm gonna create a flag. Actually here. No, let's create a boolean. It's gonna be a state. Initial is gonna be 0, which is default state. Then it's gonna be 1 for loading and 2 for completed loading with a green color. So in onPressed, here if state is 0, then we animate button. I talked about twin animations in my previous video, so if you wanna learn about Flutter animations, check the previous video. First, I'm not gonna explain how animations work today, so let's create a twin animation. And let's give it a 300 milliseconds duration. That's no, this way. Well, yes, and it needs a vsync attribute. Use single ticker if you have just one animation, otherwise a ticker provider class. And like that. Here is our value listener. Animation. We need to declare it as a field to access in that listener. Value, and it's a double. Let's comment it out for now. Now what we're gonna do is animate this width from default, which we don't know, to 48 pixels, which is gonna create a circle. We need a double field for a width, and default is gonna be infinity to expand, which we have here. Now to animate the width, you need to know the initial width, and you can do that by creating a key and using it for this container, which has the width of the whole button. And now in the animate button, as the first statement, we're gonna get our container width. Current context and the size width. Let's check it. Print first. Right, and here it is, 411, it's my screen width in dps. Now we can continue by animating our width. So now that we know the initial width, we can do this. And of course wrap it in a set state. Oh, and I forgot to start the animation. You do this by controller forward. Alright, here it is. And now we need to animate the content of the button. Where is the child? Yes, the child is here. Let's extract it as a function. It's gonna return a widget. And depending on the state, we return different stuff. If state is initial, then we return the text. Else, if state is 1. Of course, you can create it as enums. I just have it as ints, which is not the best way, of course. Here you would create a return, and else this last one for a complete state, we return an icon. Icons, no, an icons. Check, color is white, like that. And here we need a progress indicator, circular one, circular progress indicator, and you pass a double to make it indefinite. Now also by default it's gonna take a blue color. We need to set a color, value color. Alright, let's check it. Oops, I forgot to set a state. I need to do that in here, in the beginning of the animation. Alright, and our progress indicator isn't here, but a button has a default padding, which makes it an oval. Let's remove the padding from this raise button. Padding and set it to null. I think it should work. It doesn't work. Alright, then this way. Yes, now it's alright. And we might want to make our progress indicator smaller. You can do that by wrapping it in a container or a sized box. In my final example, I had a size of 36 dps, which looks better, I think. Let's check it. Yeah, I think it looks smaller. And now the final part is to set the state to complete. I'm gonna hardcode the value to wait for it. Is in Dart timer class. It comes from async package. Here in a in animate button, I'm gonna create a timer with and a callback. I do this like that. So let's check it now. Oh, and yeah, let's set a button color depending on the state as well. It's here. Alright, and it's complete. Now by default this button expands to the whole width. I think it's kinda perfect for phone screens. If you want to give it a padding, I have this class here in my homepage. Just wrap it in a container with a margin. Yeah, and it looks better. Here it is, my progress button in Flutter. Pretty simple and looks cool. I think the next step for it is to have a circular view so that you follow user to the next screen, and this is probably gonna be in the next tutorial. So you can get the source code in the description. Click like if you liked it, subscribe. I'll talk to you later.